And a good Monday to you. I wish it was a better Monday, but thanks for joining us as always. It is very much appreciated. And man, Patriots just lose, baby. Just lose, baby. Yesterday was this team sinking to a new low. They're not good. You played a team in Gillette Stadium yesterday that actually is trying to lose. The owner walked into the front office last week and said, trade two of our best defensive players. This team is trying to lose to get a better pick. And you lost a home game against that team when you're trying to win. When your GM decided to pull the trigger on absolutely nothing during last week's trade deadline. Wouldn't take a fifth-round pick or something for Josh Uche, who's very unlikely to be back here next year. This is a team here in New England that is trying to win, a coach that is desperate to win, and you lost against that team yesterday in Foxborough. Absolutely ludicrous. Just keep losing. There's absolutely nothing that we can gain from this team winning football games the rest of this year. Finish with 3 wins, finish with 4 wins. I'll take it. Get a top 5 pick, hopefully, fingers crossed, top 3 pick, and move on from this disaster. It is time to reset. This team is not good enough, and that is clear. If you thought that they were good enough to beat up on bad teams, apparently that's not true. They could compete. They'll compete against mid teams. They'll compete against bad teams. But this team itself is just not good. We've now seen it. You can somewhat explain away at Miami. Miami, obviously more talented than they are. Just a better team overall. You looked at the Bills game and said, hey, maybe they're trying to find some things here. Maybe Belichick is starting to figure some things out. No. They lost to a pretty bad Raiders team on the road. They got humiliated in back-to-back weeks, Dallas and New Orleans. And now they lose yesterday to the Washington Commanders. And let's start with the last play of the game for the Patriots, okay? Let's start with the throw by Mac Jones to Juju Smith-Schuster. Because that one play personifies what this team is. Mac makes a perfect throw. Not always the case. We'll get to him. But Mac makes a great throw, tight window, hits Juju in both hands, and he can't catch the football. Jonathan Vilma, I have no idea what he was talking about. You can't make that throw there. You can't throw it in the middle of the field. You can't throw it into traffic. No earthly idea what Vilma's talking about there. Mac made the right read, made a great throw. His receiver dropped it, and it turned into a pick. Juju catches that football. You're in field goal range. You're down by 3. And you still have some time to try to win that game. And that really is, again, the personification of this team. A microcosm of the much bigger issues. That play, and even yesterday as a whole, that entire game is an indictment on the crap roster that Bill Belichick has built. And I don't want to hear about the injuries because I'll get into those in a little bit. This is a not good roster. Way too many holes, way too thin, way too many question marks. And yesterday was the full indictment thrown on the table. Bill Belichick, the GM, has thrown way too much crap against the wall to see if it will stick. And we saw it play out in all 3 phases of the game. Defense. Washington was 9 for 17 on third down. Again, we had third and long issues. It was a problem against Miami. It was a problem yesterday against Washington. You could sit there and try to explain it away against Miami because they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Tua's playing great and Mike McDaniel's offense and all of that stuff. But yesterday, same issues. How do you not stop a 3rd and 23 scramble by the quarterback? It's not Lamar Jackson. Sam Howell did some nice things yesterday, but he's running for a first down on 3rd and 23. How is that even possible at the NFL level? I don't care who's out there playing defense. Nobody could come up with a tackle. Jalen Mills, swing and a miss. Miles Bryant, swing and a miss. How do you give up that play? How many 3rd and longs have we seen this defense give up the last few weeks? It's a broken record. Washington had 432 total yards. That is a buttload of yards officially. I just checked it, the method, the statistics, the analytics. It's a buttload. 432 yards against your defense. Washington had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 offensive plays for 20 or more yards. Chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. I talked about it on Friday. Yes, I was delirious. I picked the Patriots to win the game. Never again this season. I am not going to pick the Patriots. And even against the Giants, I'm going to pick against them out of spite. My against the spread record is cratering at 3-6. I'm picking against them now the rest of the year in spite. Don't care who they play. Don't care where they play. Picking against them. I've had enough. But we talked about it late last week. This idea of Washington, right? They're tough to bring down. Their receivers are tough to bring down in space. Their running backs are tough to bring down in space. And we saw that play out. A Patriots defense that has had issues tackling yesterday. A Patriots defense that has coverage bust after coverage bust all of a sudden. The last 2 weeks, it's been comical. This secondary has been comical the last 2 weeks. Big play after big play, coverage bust after big coverage bust. They're fortunate. Sam Howell missed a couple of wide open guys deep downfield on coverage busts. If Howell makes those throws, this game isn't even a 3-point game. It's not close. Awful. And don't tell me that Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez would turn this defense entirely around. I mean, come on now. Those two guys are very good players. And I think Gonzalez has the ability to be truly special in the league. But you're telling me you take those two guys away from this defense and it looks like that? They couldn't stop the run. Defensive line mostly getting pushed around. The only guy that can make consistent plays is Christian Barmore on the defensive line. You didn't have much pass rush. When you had pass rush, you couldn't get to Howell. You lost your discipline, got too far downfield. He's breaking pocket. He's breaking contain, extending plays, and murdering you. Your secondary, obviously not on the same page. I mean, this is a fundamental breakdown, folks. And we can't blame everything on 2 injuries. This defense should be better. This defense was better last year without Christian Gonzalez. Where the hell is Josh Uche? I mean, yeah, he made one play on that crazy Sam Howell, I'm running for my life, chuck it up cross field and convert a 3rd and long. But Josh Uche also gets run right at during that touchdown run by Robinson. Washington sees Uche. They're like, oh, we're going to run at him. Take advantage. Defense is a mess. Offense, mess. Minus that touchdown run from Ramondre Stevenson. You take away that 64-yard touchdown run. You know what this run game did yesterday? This run game had 14 carries for 40 yards. That is puke-inducing. That stinks. 14 carries, 40 yards. Again, you can't run the ball. How many times have we seen this team on first down run into a pile of dudes? First down run for a yard. First down run stuff. First down run, -2 yards. First down run, -1 yard. 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. Constantly. This offense is off schedule constantly. The early run offense has been atrocious from the beginning of this season, and it has remained that way. They can't run the damn ball on 1st and 2nd down 97% of the time. Offensive line played relatively well yesterday. I got no beef with those guys up front. Shout out to Connor McDermott. The run game, again, aside from that Stevenson touchdown, stunk. You like that Jalen Reagor drop? Should have been a touchdown. The guy stumbling and bumbling over his own feet, and then it hits him in the hands and he can't come down with it. Perfect throw by Mac. Right over the top, bucket throw. And your wide receiver looks like he's a penguin on skates. Can't even keep his feet underneath him. The Juju drop, we talked about it. The quarterback missing throws. Misses Tyquan Thornton. We had a Tyquan Thornton sighting for a couple of series. We'll get to that. But you missed Tyquan Thornton on a 4th down. You have to make that throw. You miss Ramondre Stevenson on the wheel route or whatever later in the game. Completely underthrew that one. You almost threw a pick trying to go back shoulder to Jalen Reagor. Forbes almost picked it on the sideline. There were some misses from Mac. I would say he played pretty average yesterday. So you had the quarterback missing some throws. You had the wide receivers dropping footballs. You had a run game outside of one big run that was non-existent. And you had no field position to speak of in the fourth quarter. Evan Lazar from Patriots.com, average starting field position in 3 fourth-quarter drives was your own 8-yard line. Good luck. You can't run the ball early. Your wide receivers can't catch the football. Your quarterback has been missing some throws in this game. And then you're starting from your own 8-yard line in the fourth quarter over and over and over and over again. This offense, again, we can't just point to the injuries. This offense can't survive a Kendrick Bourne injury. Kendrick Bourne was non-existent for the most part last season. The offensive problems, it doesn't have to do with injury. The offensive line has pretty much sorted itself out the last couple of weeks. Your wide receiver core is so bad that you lose Kendrick Bourne and you've got what you've got yesterday. And I know Devontae Parker was out, but give me a break. Devontae Parker, we've been wanting Parker out from the very beginning of this season. We had hoped it would be addition by subtraction. Apparently not. How about special teams? Your special teams stunk. Your defense stunk. Your offense stunk. Your special team stunk. This team stunk. And this team stinks. Your special teams. A team, Bill Belichick, loves himself special teams players. Guys that do nothing else for this football team but play on special teams. The Patriots, by my count, have 5 of those guys. Okay? 5 of these guys. Matthew Slater, Brendan Schooler, Chris Board, Ty Montgomery, Cody Davis. You have 5 guys on this roster that do nothing but special teams. Remind me why Ty Montgomery is on this team, so he can watch the football sail over his head for a kickoff touchback? What are we doing? It's 2023. Teams are screaming up and down the field. Nobody has kickoff returns or punt returns anymore. You might get 1 or 2 a game if you're lucky on kickoff returns. It's like Haley's Comet. You have a better chance of seeing Haley's Comet than you do of a kickoff return in the NFL nowadays. But you have 5 guys that are specifically devoted to special teams. Why? Maybe in 2007 it made sense. And they couldn't get out of their own way. 2 flags on 4th down to extend the Washington drive late in the game. Even if Mac Wilson wasn't offsides, and I don't believe he was in the neutral zone, by the way, you still had a hold. You still had the hold call. So you still would not have gotten off the field on that 4th down. Schooler had some penalties. Pops running backwards on a punt return. I mean, credit to Chad Ryland. He's actually done a pretty good job this year when the snap's been on, which hasn't been consistent. Evan Lazar yesterday, again, Patriots.com. The Patriots special teams going into yesterday's game was 29th in football in DVOA. This is a bottom 3 or 4 special teams unit. I would imagine they're going to be near the bottom. I mean, at the very bottom. This is a bottom 3 special teams unit. You have 2 coaches, special teams. Joe Judge and Cam Akehor. You got 2 coaches coaching special teams, and they can't get out of their own way. They can't snap the football consistently. They can't return the football consistently. One of the worst special teams in all of football. And you have 5 guys on this roster dedicated to special teams. And I'm not even counting the long snapper, the kicker, and the punter. You have 8 spots on this team specifically devoted to special teams. And you have one of the worst special teams units in all of football. What are we doing? You want to blame Mac for the people who just want to blame the quarterback for everything? Fine, blame Mac Jones, okay? Who drafted Mac Jones? And if you give me Robert Kraft, if you tell me that Kraft drafted Mac, okay. What if I give you that? I'll give you that Mac Jones, right? Just for this hypothetical conversation. Mac Jones was Robert Kraft's draft pick. Even though Belichick has swung and missed 1,000 times on offense in the draft, we'll look at this and say that was Robert Kraft putting his foot down, the guy who wouldn't put his foot down at the trading deadline last week when your team is 2-6 and spiraling. The Robert Kraft who's never put his foot down outside of Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, when he told Belichick, you got to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going on like 24 years, 25 years of Bill Belichick in New England, and Kraft has put his foot down as far as a roster decision like once the entire time. But if you want to tell me that Robert Kraft is the person who drafted Mac Jones, then who shops for the groceries to surround Mac Jones? It's still Belichick's responsibility to give Mac Jones something to work with. It's still Belichick's responsibility to understand you have a quarterback on a rookie-scaled contract to go all in on offense. Blame pie. I got Belichick at least 70-30, folks. That's me. Maybe not you. Maybe Belichick's 20% responsible for this bleep show that we're witnessing. Somehow, some way. Did you see Jonathan Kraft yesterday? I posted this on X. You can check me out at Nick C Radio. Yesterday, cameras caught Jonathan Kraft and RKK having a conversation, and it certainly looked like Jonathan Kraft said, we're not good enough, in a very dismissive way, as he and his father were discussing the atrocity they were witnessing at Gillette Stadium on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. We'll get to the wide receivers in a minute because, boy, oh boy, do I have stuff to say about that. But first, rate and review, he said. Spotify, Apple Pods. Don't forget to rate and review. Also, if you're on YouTube, the thumbs up means an awful lot to me. We're growing this brand from month 1, month 2. The growth has been incredible. It's because of your support. I'm not making $1 off of this right now. All I ask is to give that thumbs up. Means an awful lot to us here at the Nick Catto Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Still trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions. Please help us with that. All right, let's get to the wide receiver decisions before the game, because even before this game started, I was sick to my stomach. I didn't understand it. Did Kayshon Boutte hurt somebody? Did he hurt somebody within this franchise? Did he personally hurt Bill Belichick? Did he do something that we don't know about behind the scenes? Because last week, Belichick told us that Boutte had his best week of practice as a Patriot. Boutte is in the locker room talking to the media late in the week, talking about stepping up and having a chance on Sunday. Then all of a sudden, we find out yesterday that Boutte's inactive. Is he the worst practice player ever? Is he like just stumbling over his own feet and falling down on 75% of the routes he runs at practice? Is he that bad to the point where he had his best week of practice last week and still could not get on the active roster, and you threw out there what you threw out there at wide receiver? Why is he even on the roster to begin with? Why is he on the team? If he's that bad, if he can't get out of his own way of practice, or he did something that intentionally hurt somebody on the team, why is he even here? Why is he still here? Why is Boutte around? Why? You're 2-6. Your wide receivers have sucked for most of this season. Pop Douglas, I'm excited about him. I believe in that guy. Kendrick Bourne was getting it going. Everybody else has been an unmitigated failure for this team. And you can't get Boutte on the field when you're 2-6? So either Boutte hurt somebody that we don't know about, he's the absolute worst practice player ever, or this was a case of Bill Belichick trying to justify his decisions at personnel at that position. I mean, when you look at what Mac Jones had to work with, and again, that doesn't explain away the missed throw to Ramondre Stevenson. It doesn't explain away the miss to Tyquan Thornton on 4th down. Mac Jones missed some throws yesterday. But let's look. This is talking about the wide receivers. Take the quarterback out of it. You had a 6th-round pick rookie who was your number one receiver yesterday. 6th round. You had Thornton, who has 25 career receptions. Looks like an absolute bust out of the 2nd round. Speaking of busts, you have a journeyman 1st-round bust in Jalen Reagor. Did a good job blocking yesterday. That has stood out to me. Golf clap for that. And then you have one-legged Juju. That's what you had at receiver yesterday. One-legged Juju. Thornton, complete unknown, 25 catches in 1.5 seasons. A journeyman 1st-round bust and a 6th-round pick. Those were your receivers yesterday. You had Mike Gesicki out there who looks like he runs, every 4 routes like he cares. So what happened? Well, let's look at it. Tyquan Thornton lasted 3 series. He was benched. You couldn't play Kayshon Boutte yesterday, but you played a guy who's done nothing in the NFL for the most part and was benched after 3 series. And Belichick stands up at the podium yesterday and tells all of us that the receivers that he put out there yesterday gave them the best chance to win the game. Then why is Boutte on the team? I ask you again, if Boutte can't leapfrog what we saw yesterday, then what are we doing? Wasting another roster spot to go along with the 20 special teams guys? Tyquan Thornton's route running sucks. Looked like Riverdance at the top of his route. Tap dancing to get in the route and then rounds it out. Lazy ass route. Can't get his head around. Yeah, he's benched because he's not good. He hasn't been good. He has shown almost nothing. Juju played 5 snaps in the 1st half. 5. So you benched Tyquan Thornton after 3 series. You played Juju Smith-Schuster 5 snaps in the 1st half. And you're telling me you couldn't find a spot for Boutte to give him a chance? This game, after like the 1st quarter, this game was 2 wide receivers. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. You were playing a bunch of snaps with 2 wide receivers. And your wide receivers were a 6th-round pick in Jalen Reagor. That's what you had at wide receiver yesterday. If Juju can't play more than 5 snaps, then why is he out there? Another part of this is the lack of chemistry. Reagor signed on August 31st. Tyquan Thornton was on the IR until October 10th. Juju was MIA in camp and during the preseason. 3 of your 4 receivers have not worked nearly enough with the quarterback to gain trust and to find chemistry. You're literally throwing it up against the wall at that position. And because you're doing that, you're making it difficult on everybody else. Again, Evan Lazar yesterday, Patriots.com, after the game, he wrote that 29.5% of Mac's throws were in tight windows. Almost 30% of Mac's throws were in tight windows. How about Sam Howell? 8.9%. The opposing quarterback had open receivers throughout the game. Mac Jones was trying to fit it into the tiniest of windows, like 1/3 of the time of his dropbacks. But hey, don't worry about it. Ty Montgomery played. And you think about this, and you realize while you're watching this play out on that field, that Bill Belichick let Jacoby Myers walk and decided to not sign DeAndre Hopkins. People fixed their lips to tell me that DeAndre Hopkins would not have helped this football team in the offseason. People try to fix their lips to say that. You don't think Hopkins would be better than what we see out there? I thought Hopkins would have been an upgrade with a 2-legged Juju, let alone a 1-legged Juju. You don't think D. Hopkins would have been an upgrade over Devontae Parker? You don't think he'd be better than Jalen Reagor, Tyquan Thornton? If you do, stop watching football for the rest of the year. If you don't think that he'd be an upgrade on those, just stop. Both Jacoby Myers and DeAndre Hopkins could have easily been on this football team this year. How much different does this offense look if you had those two guys? Look, Max had clear issues, and we've talked about it over and over. I'm not going down the road again. His clear issues. My thoughts on Mac have been well stated, but how much different would some people feel if Kayshon Boutte and Kendrick Bourne could make plays against Philly? The third and long pass to Bourne in a tight window, hits him in the chest, he drops it, drive over. Boutte can't get his feet in twice on big plays in that game, including the last play of the game. Would have been in field goal range. What if those guys made some plays? What if Devontae Parker could catch the football against Vegas? An absolute dime from Mac Jones, over the top, bucket throw, must-have throw, back against the end zone, places it perfect over the defensive back, and Parker, as he told us, which was complete crap after the game, it might have hit his fingertips. Next question. What if he caught that football? What if Jalen Reagor catches that football yesterday and waltzes into the end zone for 6? What if Juju makes that catch yesterday at the end of the game and you have at least a game-tying field goal opportunity? Just two things to state from that, okay? Number one, don't tell me Mac Jones can't make winning plays. He's made winning plays. I'm not telling you he makes winning plays all the time. I'm not telling you he doesn't make mistakes. I'm not telling you that he hasn't cost his team games. But do not tell me this guy is incapable of making big throws in big moments, because he's done it over and over and over again this year. I just gave you 5 or 6 examples of it. I've given you examples back to his rookie season when he made big plays to bring his team back. So don't tell me he's incapable. You can tell me he's inconsistent, but don't tell me he's incapable. Don't tell me he's never done it. Don't tell me his guys haven't let him down. That's point one. Point two, don't tell me Bill Belichick has shown any kind of respect to the wide receiver position post Tom Brady. And when he has tried to show respect by investing resources into that position, he has badly missed. Let D-Hop and Myers walk. One more thing to get to. Interesting situation at the cornerback position coming up in a second. Don't forget, rate and review Spotify, Apple Pods. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you feel as frustrated as I do, give us that thumbs up, throw in a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, one more thing I wanted to discuss. Shaun Wade, for some reason, started the game yesterday at cornerback. I know we're really focused, and I just spent a lot of time on the wide receiver position, but Shaun Wade started yesterday out of nowhere. I remind everybody watching and listening, Shaun Wade had not played a single snap since week 3. And all of a sudden, he's starting yesterday. And then Belichick doesn't want to admit that Jackson and Jones were benched, which, okay, fine. But you can come up with something better when you're asked, why did Shaun Wade play? Why was Jack Jones and J.C. Jackson on the bench? Why was that happening? You can actually try to address the question, Bill, instead of saying we played all of our cornerbacks. That wasn't the question. The question was, why was Jackson and Jones not playing and Shaun Wade randomly plopped in there? We're aware that all of them played. Shaun Wade was out there for like the first series or 2, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. So it's clear what was happening there. And then Jack Jones goes on X, implying he'd rather be in prison than the Patriots locker room. Matt Doloff from 98.5 The Sports Head pointed me to this. Somebody had posted on X, yo, President Jack, you really should have just pleaded guilty at this point, and Jack Jones liked it. J.C. Jackson wouldn't speak to the media after the game. Tensions are getting higher and higher and higher. Frustrations are building. The question is, how ugly could this get? These guys now have to jump on a plane and fly to Germany to play against the Colts before their bye week. Yesterday was an indictment on this roster. It was an indictment on Bill Belichick, the GM. It is a mess. All 3 phases stunk yesterday, and you lost to a team that was actively last week at the trade deadline trying to lose. At home. You lost to that team at home. Whew, I feel a little bit better now. Thankfully, the Celtics are undefeated. Tatum's on a heater. That'll do it for the show. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. It is the Nick Cattle Show. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Rate and review, Spotify, Apple Pods. Be well. We're back tomorrow.